Hi, I'm Jim Springer with Computer Aided Technologies, the producers of Scancat-Lite-Plus. This video is about the new Uniden Home Patrol scanner. It is unique in one respect in that all the previous scanners that we've supported use a serial port or a COM port to program or talk to the scanner. This radio instead uses a secure digital card or SD memory card like you use in a camera, and instead of using the serial port, it is accessed directly through the drive system, so that when you want to program the radio, instead of using a COM port, you use instead a drive letter. Now here is a list of the drives that I have on this computer, and HIJK, and you see it skips to M. And what I'm going to do very quickly is to plug in the cable for the scanner, and if you watch very carefully, you'll see that L popped up. This L is the drive letter associated with the secure digital part of that radio. Tried to bring up my player, but instead we're going to close all that down and use this simply to show you that the drive on this particular scanner is L. So when we go over and select the radio, which is the Home Patrol in this case, you notice that there are no COM ports there. Just to give you an idea, if I chose a different Radio Shack scanner, all the COM ports would be set up, and we could detect where it was depending on where your serial connection is for the cable. But with the Home Patrol, simply uses a drive letter. So you don't use the auto configure. It's not going to be able to find it. Once you have this, then all you have to do is go to Program Radio. Now in this first section we're going to use the standard RSD files that we use to program a lot of our other scanners. So we go up here first to Freak Searches, and we pull this down and we choose the RSD lookup. Now these are files that were created originally for Radio Shack scanners, but they're applicable to any scanner because they're simply frequency data. And when you pull this up, you'll see that it has a listing of all the states, and the way that this is arranged is you have the RSD and then the name of your state, 2 letters, and then HTML. So I'm going to use Louisiana, which is RSD-LA, and when you click on this, then it opens up all of the counties. We call them parishes here in Louisiana, but they're the same thing. And our particular system in Shreveport is CADO, or CADO. When you click on any one of these, if you look over on the left hand side over here, you're going to see that they change accordingly. So here's CADO. And there are more than one bank. You have banks 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. Depending on how big the system is, all 10 of these may be used. Now once you have these frequencies and you want to program your radio, it's really quite simple once you learn the difference. We're not looking at a serial port anymore, but we're looking at drive letters. So you go to Load Read Radio, pick the Home Patrol Utilities, and in this case pick Convert or Send the RSD to the Home Patrol. And when you do this, you'll notice that the first time you've ever used this, it would come up with the C drive. Now, if you notice in the first part of the video, we discovered that it was actually L. So what we do is you simply pull this down, pick L, and there will be the systems that are already in there. We program the radio using favorites. Favorites are a way of cutting back or deleting unwanted stuff that would normally be picked up by your scanner if you chose to, for instance, to scan by a zip code. So in this case, we're going to give it a different name. Instead of Shreveport area, I'm going to call this Shreveport S-P-O-R-T-L-A. And once I give it a name right in here, I hit accept. And it'll come up and it'll show me all the favorites. And then it will come up with this new name, which is Shreveport, LA. Now, the way that this thing works is that the favorites are only called favorites underscore and then a 6-digit number from 1 through wherever many numbers you have. The radio sees this particular file, and inside of this file is actually the name of what you give it, and that's the one that shows up on the radio when you hit the menu in the favorites list. So what we do is we want to save it as Shreveport, LA, and we hit save. And it says finished. It's just that quick. In the radio now will be a new favorites titled SPORTLA. And really, that's the whole thing in a nutshell. Once you learn that all you have to do is pick the RSD file or create your own frequencies, and you see that SPORTLA is now favorites 10 or 00010. Cuts off a little bit here, but it's really called HPD. And if you wanted to make another favorites and delete some of these banks, all you'd have to do is give it a different name, or you can actually pull up any of these favorites files, edit them, and send them back with the same name. And that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go over here to say bank 3. And I decided I don't need the Shreveport aircraft and amateur radio and whatever. So what I'll do is I'll just go up here to Files, Copy. And it says Erase all records in lower database. That selected bank. Those are gone. Now 1 and 2 and 4 and 5 are still there. Now I could go over here to this third bank that I eliminated, and I could type in any frequency I wanted. Now this is a very important thing about the Scancat, is it does not limit you to using the radio reference database. Instead, you could type in any frequency you want. For instance, 27.185, if I'm not mistaken, is channel 19 CB. Make that in caps. This means that I could have a favorites, and up here I could title this, instead of Caddo Parish, I could title this Popular CB Freaks. When I create a new favorites list in the scanner, this particular one will come up in one of the fields, and any of the CB frequencies that I decide I want to put in there. I don't know if this is channel 9 or not, but for the sake of description. And let's say I have this, which I think is the amateur radio simplex. There's the 2 meters. Skip a line if I want, but I'm just going to put this in here. I'm going to say it's 162.4. I believe that's my weather channel. And 162.5, another weather channel. Once I'm through with this, all I have to do is go up here to Load Read Radio, Home Patrol Utilities, convert, send this new RSD file to the Home Patrol, and instead of this, I'm going to call this one Special Stuff, and hit accept. I want to make sure that I'm still on my L drive up here. Don't want to send it to the C drive, because what will happen is it just simply won't go to the radio. And this is going to create, I'll bet you, a number 11. There we go. And that's all there is to it. And if you have any other questions, we are going to create a second video showing you how to use the built-in database and show you how to edit your favorites so that you can modify what you've already put in the radio even if you've done it manually.